Artemus Toast here, and as the title states, this is why you should buy a Line 6 Amplify, whether it be a 75 or 150 watt. Maybe they make more. I'm not really in the loop. I just know about the one that I own. I've had it for about maybe 2 years, close to 3 years. You know, I've never done a review of it because, I mean, let's be honest, there's millions, well, maybe not millions, but, at least several dozen reviews on the YouTubes for the Amplify. You know, these are my thoughts on why you should buy one. Chances are you've already watched the reviews. You've already read about it. Maybe this is something that you're saving up for, or you're still trying to make that decision. If you should get one. Um, you know, as Artemus Toast, the world's greatest guitarist. I could tell you, you know, a guitarist of any level, from someone just starting out to a level 14 like myself, you know, you should own one. It's incredibly versatile. Once again, you've read about it, you know about it, you know about its capabilities, with the iPhone or iPad or mobile device, controlling the amp itself. You obviously about the virtual tones it creates. Being able to change the amp, the cabinets, the pedals. So many. If it could be done in the real world, with various pedals and gates and it could be done, with the Amplify, in a much easier, convenient format. It's great for recording, for home recording, because you could emulate so many different tones with one guitar. It allows you that versatility. You could make it sound like, I mean, regardless of what guitar you're using, for the most part, you can emulate, tones of a Stratocaster, a Telecaster, a Les Paul. Really, it's there are no limits, which is another reason why I think it's you got to own one. I can't remember the price. Obviously, if you're watching this upload, you're aware of the pricing, and plus that could change. I think I paid like $3.99 or $4.99 for the 75. Once again, it's been 2 years, but you know, really quick. I know I touched on this before, talking about all the versatility and the different tones it's able to emulate. And obviously, I don't want to sound too redundant, because I'm sure a lot of the people who are viewing this have or know its capabilities, have seen its capabilities. But so let me just, get right to the point. Once again, it's great for home recording. If it's great for rough cuts. It's great for the final recording as well, the final tracks. You know, it's nice to have that ability without spending, I mean, limitless amounts of money to create tones that you're able to, with that iPad and a $300-400 amp. It's very cost effective. Of course, has a built-in tuner. It also operates as a kind of a Bluetooth speaker, or Wi-Fi speaker. You play along to your works in progress. Like, for example, if you record and mix down like a track of just bass and drums or just drums, and you want to play along to it in a very, I guess, natural feeling setting, and instead of like hooking everything up to record, you kind of, sometimes I take inspiration, on a whim, or just playing along with something, once again, you can mix down something that you're working on to an MP3 and then play it, out of the Amplify, while it's operating as a guitar amp. So once again, you play along with it. And just the tones. I mean, there are literally an infinite amount of tones that you could create. Everything's on board. Everything's through the app. And you could also do things on the Amplify itself without using an iPhone or using the app in general. You could also store created tones on the amplifier itself, that you could also retrieve without, having it hooked up via Wi-Fi to anything. And I know a lot of purists are going to talk about, solid state versus tube and digital versus analog. And I got to be honest, nobody could hear the difference, and those purists and snobs and people that say they can, who cares? What you're not a Beatle, you're not making something groundbreaking or legendary, and if you are, there's no reason you can't do it on anything. If you're a painter, for the most part, it really won't matter what brand brush you're using or whether the stick that the brush is attached to is plastic or wood. If you're that picky about things, then maybe the Amplify 75 isn't for you. But on a budget, with the need to emulate tens of thousands of dollars worth of tones, within an audible reason, and by that I mean, once again, going back to purists, wanting all the analog stuff, cool, but 99.9% of the world can't hear the difference. So what does it matter? That's just kind of being, in my opinion, kind of a little bit pretentious. But long story short, getting on a rant about this thing, I totally recommend getting the Amplify 75 or 150 or whatever other iterations have come or will come, purely for the fact that it sounds great. I have the 75, has plenty of power, gets plenty loud enough for recording purposes, and that's another thing. I just stick an inexpensive, blue microphone in front of it, and it records great guitar tracks. But I highly recommend, if you're considering getting one, to get one. This isn't a paid advertisement. I am the world's greatest guitarist, but I don't sell out, to advertisers like that unless they're interested. But once again, highly recommend getting the Amplify if you're considering it. I feel it's a must own for a guitarist on a budget. Loads of versatility. You could get lost searching for tones with this thing. I have been. It's a great tool. You can make your own tones. There's so many variations, so many pedals to choose from, so many EQs, so many amps, so many cabinets. It's really, once again, I sound like a broken record, but incredibly versatile. you know, uh, it's all kinds of awesome. Highly recommend getting it. You know, like my videos, subscribe. I have over 400 or 500 plus videos. They're totally worth you know looking at. Other instrument and equipment reviews on there. Artemus Toast out.